Hi, Piper and Jocelyn. I hope you guys are doing really well. I'm going to do a recording of the next 2 pages in your lesson book, page 22 and 23. So the first thing I want to do is kind of talk through what's the new information or the new things that they want to teach you in these couple pages. There's a few new notes, and at the very top of page 22, they're showing you a different time signature. So we've talked about 4/4 time as being the most common time signature, and it means 4 beats to a measure and a quarter note gets 1 beat. So now they're showing us 3/4 time. So in 3/4 time, the top number is how many beats in a measure. So that means we know there's 3 beats in the measure, and the bottom number is showing us the fraction that indicates what kind of note gets a beat. So quarter notes get a beat because there's a 4 on the bottom. So there's 3 quarter notes in each measure. They're asking you in number 82, we've done things before where you've written down the letter name of the note. And what they're asking you to do in this one is write down the counting. So every single measure is going to begin with 1. So they've done measure 1 for you. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we've got the next measure is going to go 1, 2, 3. The next measure is going to go 1, rest, 3, 1, rest, rest. So see if you can figure that out. Keep in mind that every single measure has 3 beats and quarter note beats, and every single measure begins on 1. So the first note of every measure is always 1. In this one in number 82, there's a first ending with a repeat and then a second ending, and then we end. Okay, so that's the new stuff for number 82. So let me just play through that one for you, and then your job, in addition to playing through it, is to write the counting beneath each note. So we know this is from Mexico. It's a Mexican folk song, and we also know that I'm going to do a repeat, first ending, and it's allegro. So allegro means happy, so it means it's a little fast and it's happy. So I'm going to go about, first I'm going to adjust my mouthpiece, then I'm going to go about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that was 2 times through, 1 with the first ending, 1, and then the second time with the second ending. So the next thing I see on this page is a little box that says a dot increases the length of a note by half its value. This is why everybody says music is math, right? So we're getting into musical math. Since a half note gets 2 counts, the dot that follows is going to be half of 2. So it's going to add 1 more count. So this says, therefore, a dotted half note, because we know 2 plus 1 is 3, receives 3 beats in 3/4 time and in 4/4 time. So here they're showing you how 2 ways to write the same thing. In the third measure, there's a G half note tied to a quarter note, and so since it's tied, it's going to get 3 counts. And then in the next measure, they're showing you that the other kind of easier way to write the same thing is a dotted half note, and that also gets 3 counts. Okay, so in this next piece, number 83, it says gently. There are breath marks. They want us to try to play it expressively. It's in 3/4 time, and it does have some of those dotted half notes, and it looks like both times it has them, they're tied to other notes. So if I've got a dotted half note tied to a half note, it's going to be a 3 count note plus a 2 count note, which means it's going to be 5 counts and then a rest. And then in the very last 2 measures, there's 2 3 count notes tied together. So they're both going to they're going to each get 3, and they're going to add up to 6. So I'm going to play this gently, hopefully. And all my B's are flat. I can see that in the key signature. last piece on this page, there's only 3 pieces on this page. It's called Morning, and it's from this famous Edvard Grieg, famous Norwegian composer. Um, and this piece has a lot of slurs in it. So they're saying sing and conduct. So you guys can do what we've done in class of sing the note names, but they also want you to conduct. And they're showing you from the conductor's view, if you start up and you go down for 1, and then you go across your body for 2, and then you go up for 3. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's a thing that you guys can practice on your own. The reason they're showing you the conductor's view is because if you're looking at the conductor, this would look backwards. But when you are the conductor, this is the way you would see it. Okay, so I'm going to play Morning. I'm going to try to do all those slurs. I'm going to look ahead to the breath mark and the 8th notes, and I'm also going to see that there's a repeat at the end. So moderato means moderately. So that's a piece they sometimes even use like in cartoons and when they're showing somebody waking up, so it might even sound a little familiar to you, I don't know. So up on the top of page 23, on number 85, we've got a new note. So a new note is going to be B flat. So you know how we played B natural using these 3, thumb key, and not thumb key, excuse me, covering the thumb hole, and then the middle finger on the bottom hand, on the right hand. So this is B flat. B flat uses the first finger, so you're going right down in sequence, right? Thumb, 1, 2, 3, first finger. So in this piece, this first little exercise, they're just showing you all the B's are flat, but they're marking them flat. So I'll play through that, and then we'll talk about a key signature. So every one of my B's were played flat. I'm going to hold this down actually so you can see my fingers. Because for the next one, they're telling us about an accidental. And an accidental is a natural, flat, or sharp sign, I should say it in the right order, sharp, flat, or natural sign that's placed in front of a note to tell you what its pitch should be. The accidental, this is always tricky, lasts until the end of the measure unless it's canceled out by another accidental sign. So they're saying determine how the key signatures, accidentals, and bar lines affect the notes in the following exercise. So here's the tricky thing. We've got 4 measures that have at the beginning of 86 where there's no key signature, right? No sharp, no flat. So you're going to look back and name that key, but I can tell you that there's one key only that has no sharps and no flats. So in this one, because we know that there's no sharps and no flats, the first B is going to be B natural. However, the second B is marked flat, so I'm going to play that flat. And then in the next measure, that flat is canceled out because it only lasts for a measure, so I'm going to go back and play it B natural. And then it looks like I'm going to go the other direction. The first flat in the next measure, the first note is marked flat. There's a rest, and then the flat is canceled out to a natural, and then there's a whole note with B flat. So I'm just going to play those 4 measures, and then we'll talk about the next 4 measures. Okay, so hopefully that was clear, and hopefully you can see my fingers a little bit. The next one, there's a key signature, and it does have a flat. So there's one flat. When there's only one flat, the flat is always B flat. So in that first measure, we have a note that's a dotted half note, a 3-count note, and it's going to be played flat because the key signature tells us to do that. So in the next measure of this one, there's a natural sign on the first B in a measure, and then a flat sign in the second B of the measure. In that third measure, here's kind of, they're trying to trick you a little bit. We've got a B natural, a rest, and then the next one's going to be B natural because the accidental, the natural sign, stays true for the whole measure. And then I hope you can guess, I'll have you guess from listening to my playing or thinking about it, how should I play the last note? So you think about it. I'm going to play this. I'm going to sit up hopefully so you can see. Let me move this a little bit so you can see my fingers. Okay. So hopefully you got that the last note, the last whole note of the whole line there is B flat. And the reason is, even though in the previous measure those B's are marked natural, first of all, that natural only lasts for one measure and the bar line cancels it out. And second of all, there's a flat in the key signature there. So that means it goes back to what it would be in the key signature, and that is a B flat. So lots of new stuff. Right before we get to 87, we have a right-facing repeat sign. So what that means is you repeat the section in between. That's like a start of a repeat, and then the left-facing repeat sign sends you back to the repeat. So in this case, on Trap BZ Does It, instead of repeating back to the very beginning, we're going to repeat back to that right-facing repeat sign. And then the second time through, after we do that repeat, we're going to go to the second ending and end. And the other thing I'm going to notice is that the key signature tells me that all B's are flat. So if I have a B, which I do in the beginning of the third measure, I'm going to play this kind of B flat. There's 2 B flats that we know so far. This one, and then an octave above this one. So this is the one that we're going to be playing in this piece. So hopefully that made sense and those repeats made sense. Number 88, we have another new note. So we know below C, we know B natural, B flat, we've done A, and then now we're going to learn G. So this one, basically the tricky thing about this is to make sure that all your fingers are covering the holes really well, and it plays a really nice low note. So let's see if I can get myself down here a little bit. Number 88 is going to start on that low G, and because of the key signature, I'm going to know that my B's are going to be natural. So let me just play through number 88. So hopefully that makes sense. Number 89, I'm just going to go straight on. Largo means we're going to have a pretty slow tempo. I'm going to start on my low note G. And since there's no repeat, I'm just going to stop right there. Okay, so the very last one is number 90. And this is going to put a lot of things that we've just been talking about. We've got a right-facing repeat sign. We've got some rests. We're in 3/4 time. We have a first ending. In that first ending, we have a tied note across the bar line. So that's going to be a 3-count note plus a 1-count note to equal 4. In the second ending, we also have a tied note across the bar line. So this is the Carnival of Venice, and maybe you've heard this tune too. And this is in the key of C. It's got B naturals, but I don't even see any B's in it, so we'll see. So that's all the pieces on page 22 and page 23. And I think you guys can email me, kathleen.light@lsuu.org, just like the rest of you teachers, if you have any questions. I hope you have fun practicing these pieces, and I hope everything's going well for you. See you soon. Bye.